Hello everyone, welcome to this new video where we look at another predictions for upcoming World Cup qualifiers. This time we look at Europe. Let's go in alphabetical group order, starting with Azerbaijan versus the Republic of Ireland. Azerbaijan, one of the two teams that are already out. Republic of Ireland are getting very close to getting knocked out. Did draw the last two games, one of which was to Azerbaijan. And I think there's somewhat of a progression under Stephen Kenny, even though it's slow. But I think the Republic of Ireland can get a win here. I'm going to go with a 1-0 away win over in Baku. Now up next, we got Luxembourg versus Serbia. Luxembourg have exceeded expectations and have gone above the Republic of Ireland. I think they've certainly performed well, but Serbia, I think, will be too good for Luxembourg. Serbia are doing well. Could potentially get to the World Cup, probably not at Portugal's expense, but they've got a chance in the playoffs. I don't think they'll quite do it, but they'll be up there, and I've got them winning this game 2-1. And now we go to Group B, where we got Georgia versus Greece. And if I remember correctly, this game ended in a draw away in Greece. Yes. Georgia, I think, are the weakest team here. Greece, they got a pretty good win against Sweden. I think they're strong enough. Greece is strong enough to get this victory, and I'm going to say 2-0. And defensively, they're usually well organised. Up next, we go to Sweden versus Kosovo. Sweden, a team I think could potentially surpass Spain into making it automatically. It could easily go that way. Against a Kosovo side, I do still remember them in 2019 when they put up a good display against England and some of the other teams. They've weakened a bit, but we'll see how they do here. I think Sweden will be strong, and I'm going to say it will be a 3-0 victory in Sweden. I don't know, it's probably in Stockholm. Yeah, I'm not Malmo, but up next, Group B, the group of Italy. We got Lithuania versus Bulgaria. I think if there's going to be any game where Lithuania get a result, then this is their best chance. I think Bulgaria's second weakest team in the group. Bulgaria, I think they've certainly improved from when they were in the Euro 2020 qualifying groups. Sorry, my nose is just bloody itchy, but I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think Lithuania can find a point from somewhere in this group, and I think they'll be. Don't think Bulgaria will be quite strong enough to pull out an away victory. Switzerland versus Northern Ireland, a huge game, especially for Northern Ireland if they're going to want to increase their chances of getting to this tournament. I guess first might be too much of an ask, but second would be good against a Switzerland team who drew their last two games, including against Italy, which I was expecting. I think Switzerland will be the better team in this game, and I'm going to go with 2-0. I wish Northern Ireland luck. And now up next, we'll go to Kazakhstan versus Bosnia, where we can see in the last game, Kazakhstan pulled out a 2-2 draw, including a last-minute equaliser. I mean, they've took some results off multiple team, okay, maybe just Ukraine, but so we can see they've got 3 points, having drawn twice to Ukraine, and then recently against Bosnia. Bosnia, I think, still are the stronger team. I think they'll come back and a 3-1 victory. And now up next, we go to Finland versus Ukraine. Ukraine, I'd definitely well, they definitely got worse since I estimated them pretty highly. I don't think I would pick them to be one of the 13 teams to go to the World Cup, although I still fancy them to stay unbeaten and get that second place. And I think having drawn the first game, even though Finland have got some strong assets, and it's a pity we won't see Anssi Yakola, I think Ukraine will find a victory, even if it's not pretty. But I'm going to go 1-0 win. And now up next, Estonia versus Belarus in Group D. Group E, sorry. Estonia I actually had finishing second bottom, even though most people have said the opposite. There's not much to say on this, but I'm just going to have a 2-1 win. Czech Republic versus Wales, big game. Both going to want to boost their chances to finish second, although it won't matter too much because both teams are guaranteed a playoff, having both on their last UEFA Nations League game last time the competition was played. Although, seeing as both are pretty high, and especially for Wales, who are within the top 20, they probably are going to want to get to second just to boost their chances of getting a good draw and in that higher section. So how the playoffs work is you've got 3 paths of 4, and there's going to be 2 pots of 6, and it's going to be ordered by top 6 ranked and bottom 4 ranked, plus the 2 teams that in line that won their Nations League group. It's going to be a good game. Wales won the last game 1-0. I think Czech Republic at the moment are the stronger teams, and I'm going to go with a 2-0 victory. And now the next group, Scotland's group, they face Israel at home. Scotland's victory at Austria has given them a big chance of finishing second. And against an Israel team who've got an excellent win against Austria, 5-2. I don't think any of us saw that coming. And Israel have put up good fights against Scotland in the past, which I believe 3 draws and a win, or maybe 2 wins and a draw and 2 draws. I know Israel beat Scotland in the Nations League. He might have won the other game as well. But I think Scotland at this moment are a bit better, so I think they are going to get 2-1 victory. Up next, we've got the Faroe Islands versus Austria. Now, Austria have certainly had a blow since having lost to both Scotland and Israel. and it's going to be a big ask to get their hopes on track to finish second. Although, as it stands, they look like they're going to get a place in the playoffs because they won the Nations League. I think it's going to be, for this game, I think they'll bounce back and get a 3-0 victory at the Faroe Islands. Now Moldova versus Denmark. I fancy Moldova to get above the Faroe Islands, but this game's one-sided. I'm going to go 4-0 Denmark, and you could even go 5-0. But yeah, Denmark perfect run, and I think they could even make it 10 wins out of 10. Netherlands versus Latvia away. Netherlands currently top, and Norway and Turkey will certainly battle it out to try and get second. But let's get this game out of the way first. Gibraltar versus Montenegro. Ex-Bristol Rovers Jake Gosling, who I don't think plays anymore, but I do remember his time there. But as for this game, I think Montenegro will be too strong and they'll get a 4-0 victory. Up next, Latvia versus Netherlands. Latvia certainly have improved since recent years, having got draws away at Turkey and Montenegro, and when Frank de Boer was in charge, they even managed to hold out to a 2-0 loss, although that might have been down to the detriment of the Dutch being poor. But even so, they've certainly had some good. They've had some good results. I mean, we don't expect them to challenge at all, but the fans all like it. And then they're up against a Dutch team who they look much better under Louis van Gaal. Memphis Depay has been excellent, and Virgil van Dijk and De Ligt, I forgot his first name. The two of them are back, and I think the Dutch have just, I'm going with a 3-1 victory. Turkey versus Norway. Turkey have not had some good games lately. In fact, they've been poor since before the Euros, in fact. Although they'll be happy by the fact that Erling Haaland will miss the game, according to the sources. Even then, I still think Turkey have a better 1-2-11. But I think if Norway have Haaland, then that's going to make a big difference. But I'm still going to stick with the prediction I've had, and I'm going to go with 1-1. Turkey 1, Norway 1. And I fancy Turkey to get that second place. Up next, we go to Group H. And let's start with this game, Malta versus Slovenia. Malta certainly have been upping their games, putting up some good performances. I think they even got a result out of Slovenia or Slovakia towards the start. Drew away to Slovakia. And then they ran and Slovenia close. As for this game, I don't think Slovenia will concede. Oblak's perhaps the greatest goalkeeper out there, or they might even play Handanovic. I'm just going to give Slovenia a 2-0 win. I don't think they're amazing, but I think they've got enough goals in them to bridge a gap against Malta. Russia versus Slovakia. Now, this will be a good game. Slovakia winning the first leg by 2-1. Russia, I think, are stronger, and they've got the home advantage. And I think Slovakia will be tough to break down. But I think Russia do have enough in them. And I'm going to say it'll be 1-0 to them. And up next, we've got Cyprus versus Croatia. Cyprus not turning out as good as I thought they'd be. I don't think they get above the main four, that being Slovenia, Slovakia, Russia, and Croatia. But I thought they'd get above Malta. I remember Apoel being a fantastic team. Team that got to the Champions League quarterfinals, but Malta even beat them. So it looks like Cyprus are going to finish bottom. And I think Croatia will be too good. Even losing some of their best players to retirement, I think they'll still get a comfortable win. I'm going to say 3-0. Now we're on to the next group, which is England's group, Group I. So let's start with the first game, Andorra versus England. I'm going to go for 5-0 victory. I think away from home, the strike force will step up and things will work out a bit better compared to that 4-0 home win. And England have a lot of good attacking players. And plus, they won't be resting players so much, seeing as there's only 2 games in this international window. So therefore, Gareth Southgate will play more of the better players. So yeah, I'm going to go with a 5-0 victory. Poland versus San Marino. San Marino being the other team alongside Azerbaijan to be knocked out. And they've certainly got a good strike force, Poland do. Lewandowski, Milik. I think they have improved under I forgot the man. I think it's Paulo Bento, something like that. Portuguese coach, who beforehand they have been a bit shaky, but I've seen improvements, especially against England. And even so, I think they'll still score high against what is a not good team at all. I'm going to go a 7-0 victory plus a Robert Lewandowski hat-trick. Next up, we got Hungary versus Albania. Now, Hungary, having lost to Albania and a humiliating home defeat to England, they're going to be wounded. Well, although they did get a win against Andorra, even then it was just a 2-1 victory. But Hungary are going to want to step up. I think overall they're a stronger team than Albania, and even though they won't have the crowd, which could easily just influence the game in Albania's favour, but I think Hungary are strong enough to do it. I'm going to go with a 2-0 victory. Final group, the group Germany are in, Group J. Let's start with Germany versus Romania. Hansi Flick's certainly made the difference since coming in. I fancy them to win the remaining games. Romania, I think, will probably be second. Germany have a lot of firepower. I'm going to have a 3-0 victory, which might be a bit kind to Romania. But Iceland versus Armenia. Iceland have been dropping a lot since that 2018 World Cup. Against an Armenia team that's been on the rise. I was looking at an Iceland victory, but I think Iceland have just mean, they didn't even get a win at home to North Macedonia. So it's not looking good for them, especially with maybe missing Gylfi Sigurdsson has really made a difference. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw because Armenia are a bit overhyped, but Iceland not what they used to be, and I think that it will be a draw. Next, we've got Liechtenstein versus North Macedonia. I'm just going to go with 2-0 victory for North Macedonia. So there's my predictions for all the groups. What do you think? Who's looking forward? What's the game you're most looking forward to? And in the meantime, football's coming home. The road to 2020-22 continues.